Jamaica. Pristine beaches. Reggae music. Oil wells. Okay, that last one might sound a little out of place, but stick with us. There's a ton of buzz right now about the possibility of Jamaica sitting on a potential oil gold mine.
Yeah. Billions of barrels worth of oil, potentially.
Billions. This could be absolutely massive, a complete game changer for the country. So today, we're going to dive deep into all of this, trying to figure out how realistic this oil boom scenario actually is.
And that's the key question, isn't it? I mean, we got to look at all the data, all the analysis.
Exactly. What are the potential benefits, the risks, the whole 9 yards?
Well, one thing that I think is really interesting here is that this isn't exactly Jamaica's first foray into the world of oil exploration.
Really?
Oh, yeah. This goes way back, all the way to the 1950s.
Wow. So while the rest of the world was listening to Elvis, Jamaica was out there drilling.
Pretty much. Now, it's important to note that they didn't exactly hit the jackpot back then.
So what makes this time around any different? Why all the hype now?
Technology. It's come a long way, baby. Think about those old seismic surveys they used to use. They gave a pretty fuzzy picture of what was going on underground.
Right, kind of like those old blurry photos you're never quite sure what you're looking at.
Exactly. But now, we're talking cutting-edge tech. We can create a super high-definition map of what's going on beneath the surface, pinpoint potential oil reserves with incredible accuracy.
So less guesswork, more like using GPS to find that buried treasure.
You got it. And one of the areas that's generating the most buzz right now is this place called the Walton Morant license.
Okay, Walton Morant license, got it. What's so special about it?
Well, people are comparing it to Guyana's Stabroek Block.
Ah, Guyana.
Yeah.
They hit it big with their oil discovery recently, right? Like transformed their entire economy kind of big.
Exactly. And that's the hope here, that Jamaica could see that same kind of boom.
I did see some articles even calling this the Jamaica's Stabroek moment. Is that a fair comparison at this point?
It's definitely an exciting parallel to draw, no doubt about that. But, and this is a big but.
Okay, I'm sensing a but coming.
Rightfully so. Look, Guyana's success is like the dream scenario. But we have to be realistic here. Jamaica is still in the very early stages of exploration. Think of it this way. Guyana found the winning lottery ticket. Jamaica is still trying to figure out which numbers to pick, you know?
Yeah. So who is this intrepid explorer who's got their fingers crossed, hoping for those winning numbers? Who's doing all this exploring?
Well, the company with the exploration rights is called United Oil and Gas.
United Oil and Gas, okay. They're the ones with the potential to maybe, possibly, turn Jamaica into the next big oil player.
Potentially, yes. And here's where things get even more interesting. United Oil and Gas is actively looking for partners.
Partners, as in other companies to join the party.
Precisely. You see, exploring for oil, especially offshore, it's incredibly expensive and it's incredibly risky.
Ah, so they're basically looking to spread the risk a little bit, find some other companies willing to share the burden if things go south, but also share the potential rewards if they strike it rich.
Exactly. It's a high-stakes game, and they're looking for other players to ante up. The fact that they're seeking partners, that says something about the potential they see in the Walton Morant license.
So let's play that what-if game for a moment. Let's say they do find oil, and, a significant amount, the kind of discovery that makes headlines around the world. What could that mean for Jamaica? We're talking about an island nation. Tourism is huge for them. They rely heavily on imports.
Right, very import dependent. Okay, so imagine this. Jamaica with a dramatically reduced reliance on those energy imports. Imagine a surge in job creation, new industries popping up. We could be talking about a complete economic transformation, potentially even doubling their GDP.
Wow. That sounds almost too good to be true. Like fairy tale ending, happily ever after kind of stuff.
It's definitely a best case scenario and a very optimistic one at that. And there's always a but.
There's always a but. All right, hit me with it. What are the potential downsides, the potential risks here?
Well, first of all, they haven't actually struck oil yet. We're talking possibilities here. And even if they do find it, there's no guarantee it will be the kind of gushing geyser they're hoping for. They need to confirm viable reserves, commercially extractable quantities. And even then, even if they find that oil, it's not as simple as just sucking it out of the ground and cashing in.
Right. It's not like they just stick a straw in the ground and all of a sudden, boom, Jamaica's got oil money.
Exactly. We're talking about a massive undertaking here. They need to build the infrastructure for extraction, for production. That takes serious investment, serious capital.
Yeah, that's a whole other ballgame. Finding investors willing to take that gamble, especially with all the risks involved in offshore drilling.
Oh, absolutely. It's a high risk, high reward kind of situation. And we haven't even touched on the potential environmental impact. Oil extraction, no matter how careful you are, it always comes with risks to the environment, to marine ecosystems, those coastal communities.
Yeah, that's a major concern, especially for a country like Jamaica where tourism is such a big part of their economy. An oil spill in those pristine waters could be devastating.
Absolutely. It would be a huge blow. And that brings up another important point. How prepared is Jamaica's government for all of this? Have they learned from past experiences, both the good and the bad, when it comes to managing their natural resources?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, they've been down this road before, right? Exploration, the hope of a big discovery.
Right. And there have been cases where companies came in all gung-ho, raised hopes, and then left without finding anything substantial.
Leaving Jamaica high and dry.
Pretty much. So the question is, how can Jamaica break free from this boom and bust cycle? How do they ensure that if oil is found, it benefits everyone, not just a select few?
All right, so let's talk solutions then. What can they do? What can they learn from other countries that have gone through something similar?
Well, one interesting example that came up in our research was Guyana. Remember how we were talking about their successful oil discovery?
Yeah, their Starbuck moment.
Exactly. Well, they've implemented something called a sovereign wealth fund. Think of it like a giant savings account for the country, specifically for future generations.
So instead of spending all the oil money right away, they're putting some aside for a rainy day.
Precisely. It's a way to invest in the long term in things like education, infrastructure, healthcare. That way, the benefits of the oil wealth extend beyond the initial boom.
That's smart. It's like that whole don't spend it all in one place kind of advice,
Yeah,
but on a national scale.
exactly. And it's especially important when you consider something economists call Dutch disease.
Dutch disease. Sounds serious.
It can be. It's basically a phenomenon where countries find themselves with a sudden influx of wealth from natural resources like oil, and then their other economic sectors start to suffer.
So instead of diversifying their economy, they become overly reliant on this one thing.
Exactly. And that can lead to all sorts of problems down the line. So it's crucial for Jamaica to think about diversifying their economy, investing in other sectors.
Right, so they don't put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak. But even with all the economic considerations, we can't forget about the environmental impacts. We talked about oil spills. But even with the best technology, offshore drilling can be risky. What are some of the other potential environmental pitfalls?
Well, you have to think about the potential impact on marine life, fish populations, coral reefs. These are all things that need to be carefully considered and mitigated.
And that's where those environmental impact assessment, those EIAs, come into play, right?
Exactly. They're not just a formality. They are absolutely crucial. We need to understand the risks, how to mitigate them.
It's like doing your due diligence, making sure you're not walking into this blindly.
Yes, and transparency is key. People need to know what's at stake, what the potential risks are, how they're being addressed. That's the only way to build trust and ensure that everything is being done responsibly.
It's like we're looking at two completely different possible futures for Jamaica here. I mean, on one hand, you've got this vision of an oil-rich nation, economic boom times, right? But then on the other, you have these potential environmental risks, the social disruptions. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah, it really highlights how complicated these kinds of situations can be. And honestly, we haven't even touched on all the potential social impacts yet. Like, one thing to consider is that oil discoveries, they can sometimes, not always, but sometimes they can worsen existing inequalities.
Right, because the benefits aren't always shared equally.
Exactly. You get these tensions building up between those who are directly benefiting and those who maybe feel left behind.
Right. Not all boats rise at the same speed. Some might be stuck in the mud.
That's a great way to put it. And that's something Jamaica has to be really mindful of. They need to make sure those benefits are shared, that local communities have a say in the whole process. And having those social safety nets in place, that's going to be crucial if anyone's negatively affected.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about potential risks, but let's flip the script here for a second. Let's imagine Jamaica manages to navigate all of this successfully. They find that oil, they extract it responsibly, use the wealth wisely. What does that future look like? Paint me a picture.
Well, in that best case scenario, you're looking at a Jamaica with world-class education and healthcare systems funded by that oil revenue. Imagine renewable energy projects flourishing, infrastructure that's the envy of the entire Caribbean.
It's Jamaica where those reggae beats are powered by clean energy.
Exactly. Where the beaches are still pristine for generations to come, it's a vision worth striving for. Now, achieving it, that takes meticulous planning. You need strong institutions, a real commitment to transparency and accountability.
So it's not just about digging up oil. It's about Jamaica kind of digging deep within itself to decide what kind of future it wants.
Now you're getting it, this potential oil discovery. It's a huge opportunity for Jamaica to really take stock, to define their values, their priorities, and chart a course that ensures a bright future for everyone.
So Jamaica is at a crossroads. One path might offer those short-term gains, but there's a risk of long-term consequences. The other path, it's going to take careful planning, long-term vision, and that commitment to sustainability.
And they get to choose. It's a pivotal moment full of challenges, but also incredible opportunities. It'll be fascinating to see what happens over the next few years.
Because sometimes the most valuable resource a country has isn't buried underground, right?
Sometimes it's the will of the people to make their nation better. It's that potential, that drive.
Well said. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive here today, we're left with, I gotta admit, more questions than answers. Will they strike it rich? Will they manage this responsibly? Choose that path of sustainable prosperity?
Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the future of Jamaica, it's theirs to decide. That's it for our show today, everyone. Make sure to check back in with us soon for another deep dive.